On today's podcast, I'm joined by Tony Cooper. He's the general manager of the Motive division of Green Cubes. Tony, thanks for joining me. Can you just kind of tell listeners a little bit about Green Cubes technology and what the company does?
Hi, Aaron. Thanks. Green Cubes, we're an electronics company. We focus on power systems. So we are a custom designer of power systems that typically utilize lithium batteries. Recently, we've really started to focus a lot in the motive power division, utilizing lithium battery systems to replace lead acid in typical products like forklifts, floor scrubbers, items like AGVs. So that's really a big part of our company. But we also focus in lithium power systems for medical, gas and mining industry, a wide variety. We've done automotive packs in the past. So quite a history in power systems and in lithium battery systems.
Yeah, and lithium-ion batteries, of course, are really taking off. They're being used in all kinds of different systems. I know they're pairing them with solar technology and basically making peaking plants where batteries are kind of filling gaps in power supplies. So how has the battery storage industry changed in recent years in your experience?
Sure. So it definitely has changed. I mean, we originally started back in the days of the, nickel cadmium, lithium metal hydride batteries. Then when we moved over to lithium, it really became more of a chemical/mechanical package battery to really a smart electronics-driven lithium control package with a lot more energy and a lot more possibilities of what it could do. Because lithium, there's different varieties of chemistry, so you can have high energy cells, battery packs. You can have high power packs. There's a difference between the two, so they can really affect a lot of different markets. So like you said, there's from solar systems. I've been all over the world for different systems. We did remote telecom systems in Africa. We've done a lot of systems over in Asia, different types of systems from medical to automotive. And really it's the size and the capabilities of lithium that allow those different systems. We go from little 1-cell, 1-amp-hour batteries all the way up to 96-volt, 1,000 amp-hour packs. So a huge amount of energy differences in these systems. So a very wide variety. With this before, sure you could do that with nickel metal hydride, lead acid, but the lithium, the high efficiency, and the capability of different chemistries really opened up a lot more doors.
Okay.
And it's still opening. You see lithium taking over all kinds of new products.
And do you see a lot of new companies coming into the market, or are there too many barriers that give established companies like yourselves kind of an advantage there?
There's definitely an advantage to experience and know-how of making a lithium pack, but on the flip side, there's so many new markets opening up that there are definitely companies coming in. A lot of times they bring the experience of the market, maybe not the experience of the battery pack so much of manufacturing, and they try to make a go of it. So we definitely do see a lot of new companies starting up. Some make it, some don't. But there's definitely, because lithium, there's definitely you have to focus on safety. It's a pretty complex product. So there are quite a few people trying out to make battery packs. But as far as the established companies, they've been around a while, and we tend to open up new markets rather than just have a new company join.
And I know there seem to be a lot of technological advancements taking place. You see the prices coming down, and I think a lot of that comes with new manufacturing processes and just the learning curve. What are some of the most important technological advancements that you've seen recently?
So I think you hit on one of the biggest ones. It's basically the production capabilities, the production process. I think that's the number one driver in bringing down the cost of lithium, economics of scale. The other thing, though, is it's not just the production, it's also the process of getting the raw materials. So the production process of mining, the production process of refining those minerals, and then also, of course, the production process of actually making the cell. Even to making the battery pack. I mean, all these processes are being refined. You don't see the chemistry changing that much. I mean, there's a lot of articles about, hey, we found the new solid or we found the new chemistry mix. It's going to offer all kinds of great new capabilities. But really what it comes down to is that's far and few. There aren't many. That hasn't happened for a long time. There's small little changes in chemistry that keep getting improved, but but it's big jumps in the production process that really keep driving down costs. I mean, they're producing these cells now called, machine gun factories, gigafactories, where they just shoot them out like machine guns. The cells so quick and fast. And the quality is there because, it's all highly automated. Everything's precision measured. And so nowadays you've got great quality of cells coming out at a huge rate.
Are there any ways to even improve more? Is there something out there that could be game-changing?
And that's where I think companies like ours come into place. It's more you're going to do it at a system level. So it may not be right at the battery pack level, right? It's how that battery pack matches up with the motor system or matches up with a different system that's using it, making sure it's the most efficient designs. You're not losing a bunch of energy through connections. Everything is mated up properly. The design, you're not over-designing items. You're not putting a bunch of extra weight here when it's not needed. So it's a system level, I believe, where the largest savings are quickly realized. If you try to look at just the battery cell itself, the lithium cell itself, it's good luck. That has had so many refinements. It's getting down there where it's very difficult without a huge leap here to make some major change. But the system level is still possible. These are smart battery systems now. When you need to charge, there's optimal times to charge. When it's state of charge, there's lots of things that can be done to keep improving from a system level efficiency.
And do you ever worry that maybe we're going to run out of lithium? I've heard people say there's not enough lithium in the world to power all of the vehicles and things that are out there. Is that a problem? Is it something you worry about?
I'll be honest, I was more worried about 10 years ago when people used to talk about it then, than now. There's people are finding a lot more resources where lithium is available because of the efficiency of the process of using lithium. Really, there's a lot of mines that aren't even tapped or not even they've identified them, but they're not even trying to use them. And really, I think that's a fair look. What there are, though, are components, say, like in the NMC chemistry, where you have nickel, manganese, and cobalt. A mineral like the cobalt is a little bit more rare material. But what they're doing is they're changing the composition levels of the battery. Before it was maybe a 1/3 mixture of nickel, manganese, and cobalt. Now you're doing what we call like a 6-2-2, or 60%, 20%, 20%. So they're changing the cells themselves to make sure the minerals are available. And lithium, again, they're looking at new processes. I see where they're pulling it out of salt water now and different things. So I think lithium will be around for quite a while. And if we do get into issues, you'll see it's definitely focused more on. This is a great topic also is recyclability of the systems. What are we doing with in batteries when they're done? Right now we're still using them. We're not getting to the point where huge batteries are being recycled, but we will get there very soon, and then we'll see again how well the lithium is reused.
Yeah, that brings up a great point. I've heard that electric vehicles, the batteries, they reach a point where they're no longer useful in cars, but you can still tie them back into the grid and use them for grid storage. So, and I guess I don't understand why that is. How can you use the battery on the grid when it wasn't good enough to be used in a car? What's the difference there?
Sure. It's really about how much energy can we pack into that pack. If you have a battery pack that weighs too much, it's not efficient for a car that's moving. So once the energy level gets down where, say, it's only 60% or 50% of the original capacity, you no longer have the mileage that you originally wanted. So that battery still is useful, but not in that space or not in that, that system requirement of I've got to drive 50 miles. So what we do is we take those, and that's similar to the market I'm in, which is the motive power. The guys with forklifts, they have these huge batteries, but they can't be putting them on chargers all day. They have to be using them. So if the battery, once again, if the energy is the state of charge capacity cannot make that, then those batteries are done. The time for their second life. They're not done, it's just their first life is done. Second life is a huge thing for lithium. So what you can do is you can take these packs and apply them for that second life. A lot of them is low balancing for solar systems, where space is not an issue. With lithium, you have a very good end of life or cycle life where it's very linear. It doesn't have a waterfall where it just all of a sudden stops working like lead acid. It'll really be very linear. So a pack that has 50% capacity, it has a lot of energy that can be put into, again, applications which don't require small spaces or have room for them. So So actually, once again, solar loading is a good one. Like in my market with the forklifts, we go from heavy users to what we call the mom and pods who are, using the forklifts for once or twice a day and then parking it. So the energy level is great. It's just that it takes more space now. So you can't pack as much in there.
Yeah, and you mentioned the forklifts. Those are obviously great tools for enclosed spaces where you can have exhaust emissions and whatnot. And I know Green Cube's technology recently partnered with a freezer services company to, what I read was it's the largest lithium battery powered fleet in the cold storage industry. So are there other factors leading to people using electric material handling equipment or expanding those fleets, or what's behind all of that?
There's multiple factors when we look at our return on investment. One of the big ones is maintenance. In the forklift business, you have LPG, natural gas combustion engines, which require a lot of swapping of tanks. They're dirty, a lot of maintenance on those. Lead acid batteries also require, weekly watering, equalizing the batteries. They have to wash the truck a lot. So all that acid is coming out. So maintenance is a huge one. When you put in a zero maintenance, and we really mean zero maintenance, lithium batteries take no special side operations. There's no one's needed there to tighten bars down, water, and like that. It's a really zero maintenance. That's a huge benefit for them. And then also there's the energy savings. Lithium has both a huge energy savings during charging. It's 20% or more than lead acid. And then also there's even efficiency on discharge where the batteries, because of the voltage drop, it has a much smaller voltage drop. It's using less current. So it has that great efficiency over lead acid. And then, like we mentioned, cold storage. It's also way better in the cold temperature operation where lead acid batteries, you can lose easily 50% of the capacity when you get down to the freezing temperatures, where lithium still operates well. And the other one, that kind of special trick that we do is because lithium is a much less dense material, we can actually heat up the lithium using little heaters because, again, there's a lot less thermal mass. So we can actually, a lithium battery can work well in cold operations because we can put heaters in there if they're needed during periods of idle time. So there's a lot of benefits. And then I keep going around food services. Obviously, if you have a lead acid battery that has, again, it's leaking acid, it's putting out hydrogen gas, all those things that you don't want around your food, clean operations, a nice lithium sealed battery is much better. And they just keep piling up the benefits too.
Yeah. Do you see these taking the place of gas-powered or other types of fueled vehicles because they are so versatile? I mean, are lithium batteries taking over that market like electric vehicles are taking or, gaining ground in the against gas-powered vehicles?
Yep, definitely. LPGs are one that really is going quicker. And diesel trucks, so we call them the IC, the internal combustion engine trucks. They've always been, those are the powerhouses. And the reason lithium can move in there because we can put more energy, more capacity into the same space of a lead acid battery, where now because of that higher energy battery, we can compete against the LPGs. So you have these major customers that they have they have maybe two or three, for example, a company in the shipping industry. When the planes come in the morning, they have a very fast 2 to 3 hours where they just 100% running. There's no downtime allowed. So they rely on LPG because they don't think the electric can make it. Now with lithium coming on board, we do have enough energy where they can swap over from LPG to lithium. So they're definitely attacking those areas. And it's the same thing also. There's no fumes. So again, when you're inside a building, you definitely, if you run around a forklift in a building, your eyes start to burn pretty quick. Getting that out of there, getting the fresh, clean lithium is a great step forward. And it is because, again, we can put more energy in there and compete against an LPG or a diesel truck.
Yeah. And I mean, for a power plant, that's just who our audience is, I would think it would be a great option because you've got your electric power, you're producing it, you plug your vehicle in, and you're basically using your own energy. So it seems like a win-win there.
Oh, definitely. And I think, helping the grid, that's one thing that we really try to push is with lithium is how much energy is saved during the charging. So with the power plants, and then also the right time of charging. but because we can charge much faster. So now, if say someone's going to charge their system, instead of having to spend 8 hours on a charger, which maybe half of that's during a busy period, they can charge the battery in 1 hour, and they can choose a time, when the grid's not full, when the cost of electricity is cheaper, and charge during that period, right? So if they have that ability, that's another thing lithium brings is the quick charge time, which again with the companies today, with all the fleet tracking systems, things like that, it's one of the things that's being added is smart charging. So we really the downtimes are managed very well.
Well, I think you've answered most of my questions.
Lots of benefits out there.
Yeah, no, it sounds like it, and things that an average person doesn't always think about too. You brought up a lot of really good points there. So, is there anything else that you can think of that we should talk about?
No, I mean it's I think there's a lot of new systems coming out. If anybody's looking at a lead acid battery system, it's what I always question myself, why can't this be lithium? As the price is coming down, there's great opportunities, and to me, it's really exciting because we're called green cubes, and I feel that lithium is a very environmentally friendly chemistry. Most of our systems out there are what we call lithium iron phosphate, which is actually a RoHS type of battery. So we're always the lead acid guys are always laughing at us because we don't recycle as much of them, but we have a battery that's saving a huge amount of electricity, has a super long cycle life. And it's those major benefits that I think are important. So as we keep changing over lithium, I'm happy to be part of that. That's it from my side, I believe.
Well, thanks for taking the time to talk to me. I appreciate it. We'll keep lithium-ion batteries on our radar.